Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, Kahaloyum Yahweh, Basham Yahweh Shai, Basham, Rakal Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Akim, the hopeful elect, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity. To the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but your bloodline goes back to Israel. Shalom to Sister Akwaf, listen and learn in silence. Shalom. Well, I had a, I was asleep, and sometimes I listen to the Bible while I'm sleeping, the auto, and it woke me up on a certain part when it was speaking about Babylon and the king that he put out his eyes and then he took him into prisoner, and then he was prisoner for a while, and they took him out for and basically set him up, and even also gave him income. And was watching this lesson the other day, Apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabar, the elders, and and the bishop, and it was like this part of the video, and that part of the scripture came into my mind in that moment. So, this is basically the lesson I'm gonna do. So, go ahead.
What does it say in Psalms, what was that, 49 and 11? That the house shall continue forever.
Yep.
So they have plans as what they're going to do the next 10 years from now, the next 20 years from now, the next 100 years from now. Their new plan is to what? Go out into outer space.
Yeah, that's why in the movie they say the year 2059 or 2244 or whatever.
Yeah. We had a song back in the 60s, was that Sega and Evans? In the year 2525. I'm really...
No, I know this song.
In the year 2525. Yeah. So that links up with, what is that, Psalm 49. And the thought is that the houses shall continue forever. Yeah, in the IGY. Yeah. Yep. Back in Isaiah 47:3, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame.
Yeah, IGY, one of the lyrics is just machines to make all decisions. Because they're planning on setting up robots.
Yeah,
that's why they're talking about UBI, Universal Basic Income. Because you don't have to work.
Right.
If you notice, a lot of restaurants and businesses, they're looking to take people in and give them sign-up bonuses, but they're staying home because the government is giving them more money that they can make working. Why are they doing that? To get you lazy.
Yeah.
Because they're getting ready to phase out all the middle class, and you just want to get a basic income check, and you can buy only so much, and robots are going to do everything. Yeah, that's their whole plan.
Even Demond Wilson said that. The actor Demond Wilson brought that out. He mentioned it. Yeah, go ahead.
They also plan on making it as like you don't own anything. So you will. They have a saying. They said you will have nothing, you will own nothing.
Oh yeah. You have nothing, you will be happy about it. Well, that's what they're doing now. But the Uber, so that the Uber driving is so cheap that you really don't need it. There's people that wanted to get a car and say, I don't need a car. All I got to do is hop in the Uber. But guess what? What did the Uber do? The Uber destroyed the yellow cabs, really the cab business altogether.
Yeah.
Those medallions, they destroyed their whole business. And now the Uber's all over the place, and guess what they're doing? Now they're raising the prices up.
Now it's funny because you don't really see many yellow cabs.
They killed them.
Yeah.
They killed the yellow cab business.
You don't see them at all.
That's how.
Yeah, this is 2 Kings chapter 25 verse 1. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, and in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, right, which which America is the daughter of Babylon. So there's a lot of similitude that goes with this, right? Parallels. Came he and all his hosts, which means armies, against Jerusalem, right? You so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians of today would be known as Jerusalem, and pitched against it, and they built forts, right, which is military, against it round about, and the city was besieged, right, to attack it unto the 11th year of King Zedekiah, right? And the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine, right? Which is parallel to what Esau is going to do, because a famine is coming to Babylon the Great, right? The mother of harlots. Prevailed in the city, right? Which that great city is gonna be this time is gonna be actual Babylon. And there was no bread for the people in the land, and the city was broken up, and all the men of war fled by night by the way of the king's gate between the two walls, which was by the king's garden, right? And what's the king's garden today? Basically, the whole world is the garden, right? And now the Chaldeans, right, which goes into, they were into soothsaying and witchcraft and all these different things, which is just like basically like America. They were into mediums, like how America goes into their media and all these different things, all these different ways. Their pharmakia, basically going into those things, the witchcraft. The Hollywood, which is all witchcraft. Your TV goes into witchcraft. So there's a lot of similitude to all this. We're against the city round about, and the king went the way towards the plain, and the armies of the Chaldeans pursued after the king, right, which is Zedekiah, and overtook him in the plains of Jericho, and all his armies were scattered from him. So they took the king and brought him up to the king of Babylon, to Riblah, and they gave judgment upon him. And they slew the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes, and put out the eyes of Zedekiah, and bound him, right? And bound him with feathers of brass, and carried him to Babylon. So I'm gonna skip down to the part where like I said, this the part that actually let's see, where's that? Where's that? Maybe 27. They say, and it came to pass in the 7th and 30th year of the captivity of Josiah, the king of Judah, in the 20th month and the 7 and 20th day of the month, evil Mordecai, king of Babylon, in the year that he began to reign, did lift up the head of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, out of prison. Right here, go out of prison, and he spake kindly unto him, and set his throne above the thrones of the kings that were within him in Babylon. So, you put him in a very high position, right? And changed his prison garments, which like clothing, right? And he did eat bread continually before him all the days of his life, right? Now, this is the part where and he also and his allowance, right? Which goes into, like the elders were talking about, was it basic the universal basic income, Salakia, almost, universal basic income, so you don't have to work. So, being that there are parallels between Babylon and the daughter of Babylon, those things are there, because we said, and his allowance was a continued allowance given him of the king, a daily wage for every day, all the days of his life, right? So they're talking about giving you a universal basic income, and what, allowing machines to do the work while you sit at home, and they give you money or give you some type of income that you could buy things, but you'll never own anything. And basically it'll be like the Jetsons without being the Jetsons, because this is the things that they've always had continual thought. Like the Jetsons, like they show him going to work, but really, even when he was at work, the machine was doing the work, if you think about it. So yeah, call Lawyer Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Basham Rakal Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who well. Salutations to the Akim and the Four Winds, preaching the truth and sincerity, risking their lives more now than ever. To the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but your bloodline goes back to Israel. Shalom. Repent, come back. To Sister Akwaf that's listening and learning in silence. Hopefully this was edification for the body, and death to America.
So I ordered some shampoo and conditioner, and I got a call that said Wally was here.
If I walk just a few blocks from this office, I can find a robot that will make me a latte, serve me a quinoa bowl, and now there's one that will make me a custom made-to-order hamburger. And it kind of makes sense when you think about it. San Francisco is a hub of food and of technology, so having new businesses that want to techify their restaurant concept makes a lot of sense. But when I talked to my coworkers about it, they had two distinct opinions about robots making their food. One, I think it sounds cool. I would definitely go. And the other.
So how does that affect people working in the city?
Both of these opinions are completely justified, but that jobs one is where things get complicated. Typically, robotic restaurants employ plenty of people. They're just doing different jobs than before. So instead of flipping burgers or making pizzas, they're stocking the machine, greeting customers, and just keeping everything in working order. But I wanted to see this for myself. So we are gonna head over to Creator, that robotic burger place that I was telling you about, and I am going to see how robots might impact the future of how we order food.
So Creator's a new type of restaurant, one that has one of the most advanced culinary instruments. So this baby back there, it makes literally the freshest burger ever. We slice tomatoes, pickles, onions, the bun to order, but my favorite part actually grinds the meat to order, which means we make an amazing burger and it's $6.
This robot isn't what I had imagined. Instead of a mechanical arm flipping burgers as we've seen in the past, Creator has built a 14-foot all-in-one burger machine that uses 350 sensors and 20 computers. It takes 5 minutes to make a burger start to finish. And with 2 machines, the Creator team can make 130 burgers per hour here at their first location.
So in designing the system, we had a principle where we wanted to design a device that would meet nature where it is and not kind of make food conform to a robot. But that caused all kinds of engineering challenges because food is so different. So for instance, with the hamburger buns, each one is slightly different sized. And so on the bun system alone, there's 7 different laser distance sensors that are watching every little aspect of it, seeing where the buns are and how they're moving and so forth. A burger is a composed dish, which means you need to be able to accurately control where everything is and where it's going and how it kind of comes together. And for that, we had to build a device with a pretty impressive amount of dexterity. So we didn't want something that would make just one kind of burger. We looked at this sort of like a platform for different recipes, and we wanted as much culinary creativity as possible.
There is also a proper kitchen where employees prep burgers and make sauces and sides, but since the robots cook and assemble the burgers, Creator needed less space, meaning less rent, which leaves more room to invest in their ingredients.
So one of the great things about our operation is because it's so efficient, we spend so much more on the cost of ingredients, which definitely comes through in the flavor. So as an example, the beef is whole chunks of chuck and brisket. It's steak, it's pasture-raised, there's no antibiotics, no hormones.
So how did it taste? Well, I can confidently say that it was the best $6 burger that I've ever had, but I am not a food expert, so I asked Ellen from Eater, who's one of my coworkers, what she thought about the burger.
I think it's a good burger. It's meaty, it has fresh toppings, the bun is nice. It's the freshest possible burger, and there's way fewer times that people are touching your burger. So think about another restaurant where every single thing that you're eating on the burger has been touched by multiple people. In this case, the bun goes in the tube, it gets shot through the machine, it applies the sauce, it cuts the vegetables to go on the top really freshly and makes it, and at the end they hand it to you in a box. And at that point, no one has touched it except for you.
So yeah, robotic restaurants are cool and interesting, but there's still that whole jobs thing. It turns out that the average cook makes $30,000 a year salary, and that also happens to be the mean average rent of a single bedroom in San Francisco. Not a one-bedroom apartment, just a single bedroom.
San Francisco is notoriously an expensive place to live, and that is now creeping into every part of our daily lives. So that includes restaurants, of course, but specifically it's making it hard for restaurant workers to even have a place to live here. So people are edging out into the surrounding areas. That makes commuting long and expensive. It makes it hard to even want to work in the city. A lot of restaurants are experiencing a big struggle to find people who are even willing to do it. So in some cases, robots can kind of pick up that slack and do those repetitive tasks that humans don't really need to do.
As it stands today, there are very few restaurants testing this technology, so there's little threat of robots taking over